Krishna.
If I can just comment on that. John Dayal wants to make a point. John Dayal, my question to you is simple. I want to understand this, right at the outset itself. You have your disagreement is with the execution of the living will per se, or the fact that passive euthanasia has been...
disagreement is to... My disagreement begins from the very ethics. So I am not just disagreeing with the fact that we know how relatives kill daughters-in-law and how they kill their own parents. It's got nothing to do with that. It begins with the very ethics. Should we expedite death? We cannot elongate, we cannot prolong it, we cannot guarantee. And since you persist in calling it a landmark judgment, what percentage of the people are involved? A landmark judgment was, which said the right to food was a part of the right to life. Now, that was a landmark judgment.
John Dayal, we're talking semantics over here. John Dayal,
100 crore people, and they've not been able to implement it for water resources.
John Dayal, that's pure semantics over here. If I were to take away the word landmark and say important judgment for the medical community, for the terminally ill, I remove the term landmark, then will you agree?
No, it is an important judgment. I'm not denying it's an important judgment. What I'm saying is, this judgment may advance jurisprudence, but it does not advance the quality of life. It does not advance...
Brinda, Adige, would you agree with that this doesn't advance the quality of life?
To increase... No, please give me 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I'm not asking you to cut my studio life. I'm saying give me 30 seconds. Has the Supreme Court given an admonition to the pharmaceutical industry, to the government, increase your investment in research to make quality of life better, to make longevity possible? Has it done that? Now this comes, it's a small kernel in a larger basket of issues. Life is not just alone, life is not breathing, life is living. And there's so many factors. Ask me, I'm 70. The factors that involve life. To isolate one thing and say, because you're terminally ill at the moment. There are people who are diagnosed with cancer and died in 6 weeks. My friends, there were other friends of mine diagnosed with the worst cancer who fought, one survived.
But Brinda, you're nodding. Are you, at least on this, are you on the same page?
I agree with John when he says
joining
that
us on phone
government has spent so much money or is giving all of it.
Pinky Virani is joining us. One second. Pinky Virani, Advocate Pinky Virani is on phone line. I request Brinda and John Dayal, just let's talk to Pinky. Your thoughts on it, Ms. Virani. The fact that there is a reluctance coming from quarters, this has triggered a debate. But at the end of the day, when the top court of the country says that right to die with dignity is your fundamental right, why is this? Why should, first of all, this be called a paradigm shift or a landmark judgment, as we put it?
Good morning to you and to all your viewers and to all your panelists. The landmark judgment actually has been in place from March 8, 2011. That was when the Supreme Court passed this landmark judgment. Today, it has upheld this judgment. For which I am deeply thankful all over again, and it has upheld this judgment thanks to Aruna Shanbag. Also, the living will has come because of the passive euthanasia judgment, which again is thanks to Aruna Shanbag. Now, the matter of whether people should agree or disagree, let us have clarity that what the Supreme Court is saying is that the right to die with dignity is your personal choice. This law gives you a choice. This law also gives you a choice to write it and tell your family in specific cases where death has already set in. This would mean that even if you have cancer, but are not as yet dead, legally, except for legally, that if you're not already brain dead, if you're not already on ventilator, if you're not already in coma, and your family is worried about, because it's guilt. It's a lot of guilt.
Want to make a point?
At that point
The
in time,
phrase
to
death has
tell
set
your
in.
family that you can write it and give it. That's all the Supreme Court is saying.
Pinky
landmark
Virani.
to the degree where
Pinky Virani, I'm
we
interrupting you here. We have John Dayal. Yeah, we have John Dayal is listening to you, and he has an interjection here. Rhythm, just a 30-second request. John Dayal has an interjection.
No,
point for
I have a
Pinky.
1 second interjection on the point when you said when death has already set in. Death sets in the moment we are out of the mother's womb. It's all downhill after that. That's a matter of philosophy.
Dayal, 1 minute before you get into all the intellectualism, just let me tell you, Pinky Virani is the person who'd come to the Supreme Court in 2011 in the Aruna Shanbag case. It is only after she came here that in 2011 the landmark
I know,
judgment
therefore I
in the
salute
Aruna
her.
Shanbag case was passed. She knows and has first-hand knowledge about the kind of suffering Aruna Shanbag went through. So it's on her petition that passive euthanasia became a landmark law. Pinky, can you enlighten people like John Dayal who actually are talking about philosophical talks about death here when a person who's terminally ill...
Don't I have people like that in my family? Don't
Pinky,
disparage
just for
pain
Pinky now,
of
sir.
others.
May I?
I know from
May I?
personal experience also.
Pinky, can you just enlighten
And I'm
John
not the
Dayal and
likes
people who are
of John
watching
Dayal.
Republic
I am
on the
John
kind
Dayal.
of pain Aruna Shanbag and others went through when they were terminally ill people?
I've never had the pleasure of meeting Professor Dayal, but Professor Dayal should know that I am a product of a convent school. So I understand where he is coming from, but it's very important, and I also heard his point where he said that death sets in immediately after we come out of the mother's womb. Or I wasn't sure what the philosophy was, but the fact remains that we are all liberal enough, and the Supreme Court is certainly knowledgeable enough and wise enough to understand that this is a choice. God forbid that Professor Dayal needs to use the choice and doesn't want to, then that's upon him and his family. This is a choice that we are all being given thanks to the suffering, the 40 years plus suffering of Aruna Shanbag, for whom a tube was put through her nose and it went directly into her stomach, and she had to die bit by bit, cell by cell, brain cell by brain cell. And if we have any compassion, because all religion teaches us compassion, all humanity teaches us compassion, then it is a choice that we make. I might also add that since the time of the landmark judgment, thanks again to Aruna Shanbag from 2011, it has been very clear that even if you don't have a living will, which at that time wasn't legal, it doesn't matter. Your family can exercise this choice for you because you see, you are already dead. Medically, you are dead. Only legally, it's left. So,
if I may,
we should worry so much about some sort of tsunami coming in where, old people will be knocked off, etc. I will say that this is the time for all of us to talk to our families, especially the middle class, which gets buffeted from all sides.
right.
From the finances, from society, from guilt, from religion. Let's just talk to our families. Let's talk to our families about dying with dignity. And then let's just see where we go. The law is there, thanks to the Supreme Court. Use it, don't use it. The Supreme Court has given it to you. Thanks to
Pinky
Aruna
Virani,
Shanbag.
this is Krishna here from the Republic's Mumbai newsroom. I have to ask you this. If I want to take you back when you fought the Aruna Shanbag case, the question being asked here is that those who don't necessarily agree with this judgment are like, how can you expedite death? And who is somebody else to take a call on expediting somebody else's death and the possibilities and how it could be used negatively in many different cases? Pinky Virani, I just wanted to put this into perspective with the reasons and the circumstances under which you took up the Aruna Shanbag case in the first place.
So that we are very clear, because we tend to have some confusion between passive and active euthanasia. Passive euthanasia is applicable when death has already set in. Now, what is the meaning of death is having already set in? It means you are brain dead. A brain does not survive. A brain does not regenerate cells. What is the meaning of you are already dead? It means you are attached to a heart and lung machine, which if when removed, you will just not be there. What is the meaning of death has already set in. Like in Aruna Shanbhag, when you're in a persistent vegetative state, where you can't do anything at all, where you're bedridden, and the only reason why you're being kept alive is that stuff going through your nose into your stomach. In such cases, the choice really is not about anything else except compassion for the patient. So depending on where you are on the compassion scale is a choice you make.
Right.
It's not a choice that can be forced upon you. It is a choice you must make.
Yes. Right, Pinky Virani, we're going to thank you at this point for joining us here on this important judgment day from the Supreme Court. And with that, John Dayal, Brinda, Adige, Sakal and Rhythm, we are taking a very, very short breather. We will continue #Right to Die debate on the other side. Do not go anywhere.